I don't think it's focusing. I can't tell if it's in focus or not. Sure. You know, I think the most difficult part about putting myself on camera is trying to think of what to say and not spending my whole time doing this number and checking this and checking that and making sure everything's in focus because the autofocus sucks. I think it sucks, I can't tell. I guess we'll find out because I'm not re-recording this. I can't afford a microphone for this whole setup here, so I'm not gonna use that audio. If I use that audio clip, y'all are gonna fucking hate me. So today we're gonna do a how did I edit. I'm gonna show you how I edited this particular image here of my family. It was pretty cool. It's not touching myself everywhere. It's pretty cool. We had a lot of fun, and one of the compliments I got when I posted it all to Facebook was somebody said that they thought I was using a special background or something. I can't even afford to paint my walls, let alone buy a background or a microphone or any other kind of fancy setup. So, you know, I got my R2D2 coffee mug, and we're gonna drink some coffee, edit this picture, and don't tell anybody my secrets. So I started with highlights because this picture is overexposed. I was worried about exposure in this picture because I thought that because we were in the shade, we were in this totally shaded, shadowy area. You can see it was really bright outside, but we came into the shade here to get some pictures done. It was like right behind the picture there was like 10 feet, and then you're on a walking path in the middle of the park here in Boise, Idaho. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to just kind of like take a step off the path and boom, find this place. We're gonna work on this now. We're gonna edit this and see what you think. So first things first is we gotta drop those highlights. It was just too much. Way too much highlight. We're gonna bring that all the way down, and you can already tell right there. I can hear my wife. Just dropping those highlights brought out all of her skin tone. You can see all of her hair. That's the beautiful thing about the Fuji X-T2. It's just got massive dynamic range. So even though on like another camera I'd have blown out highlights right here on her forehead, I'm still able to save it. Even dropping my exposure all the way down, I only have blown out highlights in the far background. So come over here, drop our highlights. There we go. Up the contrast just a tiny bit. I want to bring out just a little bit of detail in the eyes and stuff. Put about right there. And before you go too much further, it's always really, really important, especially when working with Fuji RAW, to come down and increase your sharpness. Increase it a lot, because for some reason Fuji RAW just has really, really bad, I wouldn't say bad, they're not the sharpest images. Like a Canon or a Nikon image, those are really sharper in RAW. Fuji's are really not that sharp. I'm going to bring the noise reduction down just a little bit. I had the ISO here. It wasn't too bad for this shot. It was only 400. So I'm going to bring that down just a tiny bit. You know, just to kind of get rid of some of that extra yuck there. Zoom out here, and we're going to hold down Alt and then click on masking. And we're just gonna keep detail in the eyes and in the smile, and everything else can just kind of, detail can go away in that. We don't care. We just want the detail in the eyes and the smile. We're also gonna come down here to dehaze. This is gonna give it just the tiniest bit of pop. So there we go. So just so far, taking it from that to that, from that to that. So now, come back up here. We're going to lower the exposure a tiny bit, just to bring out a little bit more of the detail in them. And it was a cold day, but I didn't want the picture to seem cold. I didn't want it to seem like chilly. I wanted it to feel warm, and I wanted it to feel pleasant. So bumping up the temperature here a little bit, just to heighten the mood. We're going to take the exposure, bring it down a little bit more. I want more detail in their faces. And now I'm gonna take my blacks, and I personally like to drop my blacks. I like to bring my blacks down a little bit because now it's creating these shadows, which is giving detail. It's giving some character to the images. It's making it more. It's just making it more. It's giving it some life, in my opinion. So then shadows. It seems like right now that doesn't really matter, but we can bring out the shadows in her hair right here. So let's go ahead and bring that out just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. There we go. And clarity, I always drop my clarity to -10, -20, somewhere around that area. I'm going to do -15 in this one. And I like to bring my vibrance up. 20, 15, let's do 25, 15. And now we've got color. We've got color everywhere. But because it was cold out, now we've got purple, and the skin tones are just not the best. So we're going to come down here to our hues, and we're going to take that red and we're going to make it just not so red. Right? We're going to take that red and return it to orange, and it gets rid of a lot of that there, and then we're going to take our magenta and push that towards the red. So that way we get much more natural looking skin tones, because you don't want your skin tones to look unnatural. It's just, people are going to tell right away. They're going to take one look at it and go, yeah. So fix that. Purples from the lens, we're going to just get rid of the purples. Nothing in this was really purple, but you can see here, looking on the dress, there's a lot of this terrible coloring here. So we're going to take the purple, just get rid of it. It makes it look a lot crisper, a lot cleaner. It gets rid of all that extra gunk. Now I like the Fuji shoots in 5x6 or 4x6 by like natively, so I'm going to keep that aspect ratio, but I just want to bring it in and make them more of the focus here. So I like to use my preview menu over here, and if they look in the middle there in the preview menu, then they'll look fine when you're done. So use your preview menu, use that to your advantage. I always use my preview menus. So we're done there. So now, it's still a little too bright in their faces, just a little bit for my personal liking. So I'm going to drop it down just a tiny bit more. There you go. And there's that. So now they look fine. They look great. So what I'm going to do now is I want to make this background. It's a noisy background. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of leaves everywhere, a lot of colors everywhere. I want to get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clarity, bring it all the way down, and my sharpness, bring that all the way down. And I'm also going to bring down the exposure even just a little bit more. And I'm going to paint that in, and watch how doing that brings out the detail just in them. I'll show you the before and after. So we're painting this in, using the brush, painting it in, and actually, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to do everything. We're going to do the entire image, get it nice and saturated, get it nice and lose all that contrast and all that stuff. Bring the dehaze and haze it, lower the contrast. I just want to get rid of any detail that might be in that. I want the detail there. I want all the detail in their faces. So now I'm going to keep the detail in them. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to erase all that did everywhere else. You see how they're coming back to life now. All the detail in them is coming back. All the detail in their clothes is coming back. All that's coming back now. Down here. Get the shoes back. All of that. And then now we'll check, make sure that I've got them totally undone. So we'll just hold our mouse over this, I've tone red, and there we go. Let's finish fixing her pants here. Just make them look, as much detail in all these spots as we can. We want detail there. Check and make sure. Good enough for me. Faces look good. right here in the arms. Arms. There we go. Still a little bit too exposed. So there we go. We're going to drop down that exposure. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. And now look at them. Now look at how much they're popping. They're coming off the screen. They're right there. They're in your face. They look wonderful. I might have lost a little bit too much detail in the background. I'll bring out just a tiny bit more. I don't want this too much background detail. There we go. Alright, so there's that. And we're going to do another layer mask, or another adjustment brush here. Bring everything out. And I'm just going to bring the highlights down some more in their faces because that picture was overexposed. So we have all the dresses, everything down here, all this stuff looks good. You got all the detail, all the coloring, but their faces still seem a little bit bright. So I'm just going to paint it in the faces, the top here, this whole top area. Just going to bring those highlights down, bring them down, bring the exposure down just a tiny bit, there. And that now has evened up the whole image. So now, because we did the temperature change, we made everything a little bit warmer. What that also has done is it has warmed up their teeth and their eyes. It's made their teeth and their eyes that more yellow, warm color. And we want to fix that because in real life, they're not going to have that problem. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our adjustment brush and I'm just going to brush in right on her teeth, right on her eyes. We're going to bring it up a little bit. Just a little bit, not a lot. We want it to look natural. Bring the temperature back down. And then we're going to do the same over here. Paint it in. The eyes. You can bring that just up a little bit. And cool it off. Get rid of all that warmth that we gave it. Just in the eyes and the teeth, because that's the only thing that really matters in changing the temperature and stuff like that. And it looks like we're done. We're done. Let's check the levels. See how we like things. I'm gonna bring out more. There we go. Let's bring out some detail here. Let's lower these darks. Maybe like that. It's creating some more pop here. Let's check our shadows. Do we want to mess with the shadows? Is that changing anything? Oh, it is. Let's look at that. It's brought out so much more vibrance and color in their clothes, in their makeup, in their smiles. It's made the pants look better. That just looks a lot better. It just looks a lot better. So we're going to bring in just a little bit more here, square it up. And there you have it. In the middle. There you go. There we got it. So here is our before and after. Before and after. Right there, that's ready to go. So now I like to do one more thing. A lot of photographers don't like to talk about that they do this, but a lot of them do this. So we're gonna add a catch light. We're adding a catch light? That's not natural. If you had a flash, you'd have a catch light. If you brought something with you, guess what? You're gonna have a catch light. It's just the way it is. You're gonna have a catch light if you brought the right kind of gear with you. I didn't bring the right kind of gear with me because this is just me and my family out having some fun, taking pictures, having a blast. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna come in, and she's already got a little bit of shine in her eyes, just a tiny bit. So I'm gonna take my brush and the smallest size possible, and I'm gonna paint in just like that. And I'm gonna take the exposure all the way up, contrast all the way down. And now she's got this bright shine in her eyes. Zoom out. It's a little bit too much. We're going to tone it down just a tiny bit. We don't want it to look too extreme. Just want something, we want it to look natural. So there we go. So we've got a little bit of sparkle in her eyes. And let's come in over here. We'll do the exact same thing. And Gray's eyes. There you have it. Actually, we're going to undo that because it was too much. Do separate ones here. There we go. We'll do a separate one for her. There. There you go. Add a little bit of catch light, and what that does is just brings out that detail in the eyes. It just creates, there's an old saying that the eyes are the gateway to the world. Eyes are the gateway to the soul. So doing that just kind of brings that gateway, it opens up the gateway, creates that tone, that feeling, that that you're there. So these leaves look like shit. Let's fix the leaves. I don't like how the leaves look. They're just too much. So I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix the leaves. I'm just gonna get rid of all that fucking fuzzies that we did in the leaves. Wow, that looks a lot better. Yeah, should have just done that. That looks just a hell of a lot better. That's it. And that's the end of it. There's my tutorial for this. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.